welcome to ESO Daily. I am your host, Mysticraven. Alright guys, so it's been, I'm running a little late due to having an ear infection. So I had to go to the doctor late last night, like a little stat care thing, and I have an ear infection, so I'm running a little behind today. But a couple people have been asking me to kind of give PvP tips, tactics, things like that. I'm an okay PvPer. I don't think I'm like the best. I think there are better players out there, and a lot of really good players out there you can learn from. But you know, I'll go ahead and kind of give whatever tactics I can to help players as much as possible. Today, Duck, you're in the ground. You're gonna have to like teleport to me again. I hate that bug. But today we have my friend Duck. We're gonna just do a couple counterplays. Now I'm not completely spec for PvP, but I'm on my Sorcerer, and I think Duck is on his DK. Am I right, Duck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of unorthodox.
Now a couple of things I want to kind of go over. The one reason I picked Sorcerer. Now this build is a heavy armor build, and like, for example, a lot of sorcerers do what we call shield stacking. It makes them insanely hard to kill, almost next to, really it makes them almost impossible to kill on a 1v1 situation. Instead of using like a lightning staff, they'll use a resto, and they will slot on the resto side, they'll slot their healing ward kind of right here on the back, and they'll put their hardening ward or their Sorc ward, and it kind of makes them really next to impossible to kill. Also, making sure they have like a self-sustaining heal. I don't typically use a lot of the Dark Exchange, but it's a good ability, which is typical, so I'm going to go ahead and slot it. Streak is another one that sorcerers use for a getaway tactic, but really good sorcerers also use it for a CC ability. It only has like a 1.5 second. It is a little low, but especially amongst the Zerg, when you can streak through them, it gives any party member behind you an adequate time to lay down AoEs, do a lot of damage for back-end player. It's not really going to be a strong suit for like in certain scenarios. And you can loss out in and out really well with Streak. But keep in mind, every time you recast it, it's going to cost you 50% more magicka. So it starts getting taxing the more you spam this ability. So you kind of want to use this by call. And then, of course, using Dark Exchange. And then, of course, I have the nasty Dwemer Engine Guardian set on, because the ad's just annoying as hell. Okay, so here's Duck. We're just going to go over a couple, one or two tactics. One of the things I want to go ahead and show, you got your wings. Flap your wings for me.
I don't have the wings slotted just yet.
Okay. Let's kind of show them what abilities wings is going to prevent and which ones they're not. Okay, he's got his wings on. Okay, so this kind of deflects projectiles. Now, also when you see him flap it, you'll see that shield come up. Right? So besides his wings, you'll see that orange kind of reddish tint go near him.
And it lasts about 5 seconds?
Yeah. About 4 seconds after. Okay. Now I'm just going to hit him with a couple abilities. Just flap your wings a couple times. Okay. Degen's going to go through. Fury is going to go through. Crystal Frags will not. That will be deflected. Haunting Curse goes through. So there's not a lot when it comes to certain abilities that the wings are going to be useful. But if he uses like shielding systems, it's going to go ahead and mitigate that damage. Like if he uses his Igneous Shield. You're in combat. Here, let me help you here. There, you can slot it.
Yeah, I wasn't really prepared for all that.
I know. I appreciate it. Appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
So he's going to throw up put it on his igneous shield now.
And we'll go ahead and slot a heal.
Yeah, make sure you put your heal on. Okay, you ready? Same thing. This time he's going to use his shield.
Shield, I got my wings.
Okay. Now, if you notice, he's been able to mitigate a lot more. He's playing more defensive. Oh, hard cast. He's not taking so much damage. So playing defensive is having all these abilities between your shield, your heal. Get that proc. Now notice it's reflected. So now I have to play defensive, throw up my shields. Now I can stun him if I want. Now if I can get up a little bit more speed. Now you'll notice when we're moving around a lot, that's just the the person has to get the target in line of sight. If you go ahead and you hit the messed up there. Hard cast. Now he's in light armor, I believe. You're in light armor, aren't you, Duck?
Yeah, he's not really good. I don't run this rotation typically. I usually run a heal. So I flex his scales and shield. So he's pretty squishy. Slot no
Keeping mobile is very important. Now go ahead, Duck. You got your burning talons on. Another thing is using proper CCs. No, get off me. Using proper CCs to your advantage, because there's certain abilities that even when, like for example, when he burning talon me, I can use a streak, but the burning talon is still going to remain. I'm actually still going to have to use the break free tactic to go ahead and try to break from that CC effect. That gives him enough advantage to get on top of me, use his whips and all of his other effects to kind of burn me down. Okay, there's a couple comments. Let's go ahead and check it out. Hold on, I gotta get there. Okay. Morning, Robert. Morning, Matt. Morning, Trinity. Morning, Rock. Morning, Mustang. Morning, everybody. Okay, so now he's got the burning talons, and he's going to lock me in. Now, this is the... turn around the other way, because I'm going to streak this way. Okay. Okay, so now he's going to burning talons me. Even if I streak, see, I'm locked in. It'll go away, but most of the time I'm going to have to hit that break. Do it again. Okay, and usually you always have to do a hit break. Sorry about this. I'm getting a weird call. I'll have to call that back. Okay, go ahead. Burning talons me again. and then I usually roll and I'll break you out of it. Now, for example, a lot of his effects are pretty close up. So when he's burning tiles at me, he can use his fiery breath and his whip. Or that. Or that'll work.
He's not spec for
he's not spec for his PvP.
Well, he's spec for PvP,
but see,
he's not spec to survive. He's spec to kill.
Yeah, and that's another thing is try to come up with what's going to work for you and understand that each ability that you choose not to slot or you choose the slot is going to dramatically affect your counterplay options, right? So he's using coagulating blood for your heal?
Yeah, because like essence draw is a better one when you're in group, but you have to be next to somebody where coagulating blood, you can just pop that in there.
Right, and it scales max magicka and spell damage. So,
yes.
And that's a really good heal, plus it does give him a health regen boost. 1 second, I'm going to have to take this, be back in 2 minutes.
In the meantime, I'll just sit here and spam stuff because can't sit still. That's helpful. Run away, run away.
Okay, sorry about that. Real life stuff. All right. So, anyways, so we're as I was saying, a lot of counterplay options is going to be dependent on you, defensive, offensive, and what you're going to need. Self-sustaining heals is going to be a necessity. Also, do you have your spiked armor on?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's another thing. So we're going to show the damage output prior to his spiked armor. And what it's going to deal when he hits it. Because remember, that's a mitigating effect. I'm waiting for your spikes to go down. Okay. Excuse me. So, spiked armor is a mitigating effect, kind of like why I use Storm. Okay, so here's one without. You'll see two. Go ahead and hit it. 18. Okay, from having that. But here's the deal too. Notice I'm taking damage. That's from his spiked armor's effect. So now I'm taking a dot damage based off of hitting him with spiked armor. Okay. And of course it can proc Valkynscorian, which is annoying. Alright, so there's pretty much how this, you know, your defense plays in. Like, for example, I use this for a speed and damage reduction to give me that extra resistance. Okay, weaving up to, between, especially with enchants, is going to be very important. No, notice he's rooted me. I got a break. Block. When you see the meteor, you want to block. Okay, degen's also going to be important. It's going to give me a health besides the Dark Exchange. You can also use pets for heals. So pressure is going to be a big thing, and a lot of people, the more you slow down, the harder it's going to be for you. So you got to keep moving, and targeting is going to become very, very important, especially while you're on the move. So we're going to do like a little quick full run, try to run up everything. Like, for example, okay. Always going to shield up. I'm going to streak through him, get that CC off. Up, wrong bar. Hit. Get that heal. Break.
Watch my health drop at all. I'm like, uh-oh, he's gonna finish me anytime. Oh, and dropped the meteor on me while
That's another thing you can do when you see him. That's when you want to drop the ulties, because it's going to be the most effective. If you try to go ahead and drop the ultimate on them before the CC, sometimes what they're going to do is just block. So you'll see me block. Anytime I hear the meteors, I'll hear the effect before it finishes. So I'll hear the boom, and all of a sudden I know block. Because it's going to hit me. It's going to land. I can go ahead and streak. No matter where I streak, it's going to land on my head. So it's important that I throw the block up, CC out of its effect, its AoE effect on the ground, and so on and so forth. But when I go ahead and I streak, what that's doing is giving them a 1.5 second stun. I can drop the ulti as it's going, or drop the ultimate, streak, it's going to stun him. So I drop the ultimate, streak, boom, he's stunned up. Okay. Go another round here. Yeah, I love that little ground effect. Block, streak out. Roll out.
here. Run away from me. I don't like range. DK,
Streak out.
Come back here.
Oh, no, not that one! Ow! Okay, so I just got hit with soul assault. Okay, let's talk about Soul Assault. I'm glad he used this. Soul Assault is a really nasty ultimate, right? You cannot block. Do not try to block Soul Assault. Whatever you do, don't try to block it. You want to loss out of it. You can block it. It's still going to hit you.
You get caught in open field.
Yeah, you're screwed.
All you can do is block.
Right. That's all you can do. You could try. You could reduce some of the damage. It's still coming through though. So, the best.
If you see somebody else soul assaulting, they're channeled, and they're not going to want to break out of that.
Yeah, and that's another thing. So on a 1v1, it's great. It's a great ultimate. But when you're like 1v4ing, Soul Assault probably becomes your worst enemy because you're single targeted channeled, and then you're exposed. But you can backbar out of it, but then you're going to lose the DPS on it. That's another thing too. Backbar out of channels. So if you see a Templar with, if you're a Templar using Jesus Beam, right? And all of a sudden you're going ahead and you're using your ultimate, you can go ahead backbar out of it. Same thing with Mist. So I'm not a vampire on this tune, but say I go ahead and I hit my Mist form and I want to cancel that out before the duration, all I have to do is bar swap and it'll cancel out its effect. So I can use it for a portion of the duration to be effective and then just go ahead and loss out of it. Oh, thanks, Trinity. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Whoop, whoop. Thank you. I was going to ask you about innate Axiom set after Tactics talk. Oh, yeah, it's a really good set, depending on what you're trying to do. But, yeah, it's a good set. Mystic cannot see chat when he is on PS4. I'm getting the phone. Yeah. What are you using to cleanse dots or status effects? Now, that's one thing that we're going to talk about, too. Cleanses. Templars have the best cleanses. Right? So, in most classes, now, if I wanted to use say I'm not a Templar, and I want to put a purification or a cleanse ability on my bar, I can go to the support, and I can go to Purge. Right? Now, Purge is a great, and I don't know why I don't have these unlocked. That's kind of weird. Purge is a really great effect. It can go ahead and shut up. Don't tell them about that. It can cleanse negative effects on you, for you and your group. Here's the problem with Purge. Look at the cost. It's insane. You better know if you're going to slot this ability, when is the appropriate time to use it? When is the most effective time to use Purge? Because it is very, very, very costly. But there's also sets like Stendar that will remove negative effects, which is very effective in a lot of Magicka builds because you can use it as a heal. Cleanse it, by using the Stendar set. So there are a lot of even sets that will give you the cleanse capability. So even if you're not a Templar or you're not using the Mutagen, which is another great skill here, we can go for a cheaper skill in the Restoration Staff. So say if I was using a Resto Staff and I want to go ahead and get a cleanse, I can use the Regeneration and go ahead and use Mutagen. Mutagen would go ahead and give me a reduce one harmful effect. Now for Wardens, the Blue Betty, when you cast Blue Betty, will remove a negative effect. So that's why Wardens are a pain in the ass, especially when you see the Blue Betties, because they're reducing the amount of pressure and negative effects being applied to them. But it can only remove one. Now certain builds, like my Stamina build, stacks negative effects. It keeps stacking poison effects, so they have to keep cleansing it. When they cleanse it, then I'm reapplying. So the pressure they're so fixated on removing negative effects that I'm able to be more effective with my direct damage. So pressure game is good, but if you get caught up in too much counter game, then it's going to hurt you dramatically. So a lot of the times you want to go ahead and CC out of it. What's up, Carl? You just caught me on my show. I don't know if they can hear you. Yesterday they couldn't hear anything you were saying. But me and Andy will kind of go in. Now, he's a DK, so his game's all about pressure. But keep in mind, DKs do have direct effects, especially with whips. I can't target you, dude. You keep moving. I can't invite you to a duel. So a lot of his effects are pressure. I don't have cleanse, so I have to go ahead and burst him down, and that's why everybody's always talking about burst game being more effective. Now see, he blocked it. Now look, once I hit him with the degen, I want to try to out-heal his dot game. Shielding, it's going to go ahead. Now remember, his dots are still firing on me under my shields. My shields aren't going to help the dots that's already applied. And he knows he's going to keep moving around. He's going to avoid a lot of my damage as much as possible. Well, yeah, that's what we have to do. Anyways.
Playing against DK, range is your friend.
Right, but you can see he can pressure me even as even on a sorcerer, but self-sustaining heals is good. So that's why a lot of players will opt not to use something like the lightning staff, or they'll go lightning resto, so they can have the lightning damage from the weave ability. Then they can have the resto for self-sustaining. This is where restoration staff comes in handy. Other classes like Steam Warden can use vigor for a hot, and then use their spores to go ahead for a direct heal. Keep in mind, ultimates are going to be effective as well between single target game and group play. Yeah, you can block cancel channels too. Right. Good point, Uology. Purge is way too expensive. It is, and it is. But when you're in a Zerg, and let's say you're facing down a Zerg, and you got 4 or 5 people, and you don't have a healer with a cleanse, if you don't, sometimes it can come in handy, but I always turn my... it has to be a last-minute decision if we're going to need a purge. Most of the time, we can get around not needing it. It can come in handy, but it's way too expensive. It is way costly. You know?
Isn't there a morph to where you can reduce the cost?
Yeah, but it's still expensive. It's just insane. It's just way too expensive. Don't worry, didn't miss a lot, Carl. Just an eye of shit. Uology and me PvP a lot. So that's my dude. We PvP quite a bit. And we do really good. But he's a PvPer, and that's why I love him. That's why I love you. So, but yeah, guys. So a lot of the things you want to keep in mind if on tips and tactics is proper counterplay. You know, I want to always be able to keep a shield up from direct. If I'm going to be on a sorcerer, and let's say I use a resto staff instead of... I don't have a resto staff on... Oh, actually I do, but it's not ideal. But let's say, for example, I put on... I'll just put on this, just on whatever. And then I can go ahead, go into my skills, and then I can go to restoration staff. And then we'll use the healing ward. Okay, then I can put this on here, and then I can go ahead in my other ability, use my empowering ward over here. I want to kind of keep them on both bars, and then I can go ahead and replace my degen with my haunting curse. Right? Okay, come here, Andy.
No way, you come over here.
No, not near the rock. I just want to show how stupid this combo could get. Okay, for shield stacks. Okay.
So I'm DPSing, is that what's going on?
Okay. And I'm just going to shield stack. We weave up. This is why you can't kill sorcerers. Just shield stacking. Don't even worry about pressure. Just shield stack. They need to do something about it. It's real. I can just literally do this and weave off of him all day long, and he's not gonna kill me.
Sure about that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
You get me, Andy?
I'm trying. Ghosts are fun, man.
Yeah,
They're
you had to
fun
like
go down.
pow, pow, pow. Notice I didn't use any offensive abilities though.
No, and offense is a great defense. For sure.
Right, right.
The
So
second
if I
start
was,
paying
if I
attention to
literally
you
go ahead
down,
and start hitting it, but it's ridiculous. Shield stacking, what it would do for you. Now add mobility to it and everything else. It becomes retarded. I mean, not, it becomes stupid. Come on out, Andy. Don't be like that.
You want to play the rap? Yeah, if this was zero, I wouldn't have tried it. Yeah.
Now I can give up the exchange when I'm doing something like this.
Oh, but I got ulti.
Oh, damn! Damn it! Hard cast.
Soul?
Oh, no magicka, no block, soul assault. You even on the block, man, it is a nasty, nasty ultimate. It really is. Soul assault will get you really good kills. You can reduce the damage from block by blocking, but it's still going to go through, guys. And on single target, it is really nasty. A lot of people won't even use soul assault, but you can also, if you have a CC effect like a stun, you can knock them out of their channel. So if you use something like spears, you can throw it at them. Boom! All of a sudden, there goes their channel. You know, hit them with a CC effect. So if I should have used like something like streak, stun them out of it.
Are we sure about that? Can we
Yes, we are 100% sure. It can be CC'd. You can be CC'd out of your channel. Stop moving so I can target you. I know you like movie, but
I don't like sitting still. It's boring. You wanna go play the rock?
Come here.
Yeah, you come here.
I'm out of stam. That can always be bad too. Damn it. too late. Yeah, shield stacking is going to be real. You're going to face it. It's just going to make a sorcerer almost impossible to go ahead and break from. It's just going to really be really hard to break from Sorc. The main thing is paying attention to their shields. You know, if you start seeing shields on them, you know. You're not really... Don't duel these dudes. Come here. We're working. They're playing. There's a difference. Now, by the way, guys, dueling can be helpful for you, especially when you're getting used to learning, you know, especially with CCs. So here, Andy, I'm going to show the CC effect on your Soul Assault. So I'm just going to let you build up, call it out for me, and then I'll show the CC effect.
All right.
Just build up some ultimate.
All right, we got it.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep. Oh, hold on. I didn't get it all. Yeah, I went through you. See, did it break it?
No, I don't think it did.
Okay. It's still channeled. I've seen people like used to use frags and spears and hit them out, but...
I think that's what it is. They used to. I think they got rid of it.
Oh.
And I've noticed the CC on ultis will... Even when somebody's on cooldown, it'll still CC people. Like you using the permafrost or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Wardens. You CC somebody, you pop that ulti, they're CC'd again before the cooldown's gone. If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But that's what it looked like to me.
Well, so basically the only way you're going to be able to stop something like Soul Assault is lossing out. Now, I guess. So, you used to be able to CC out of it. You used to be able to stun him out of it.
You can block cast, remember that. So
you can. I wonder if you can bash him. Let's see if we can bash you out of it.
Alright, I'll get it. Take a while.
I know you can't bash certain abilities out. You get it?
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep. Nope.
Nope.
You cannot. So it's a loss thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be loss or block to reduce the damage on stuff like Soul Assault. Crazy, man. That is nuts.
Stop back here.
Stop trying to kill me. Oh no, I just went in your shit. You know what, Andy? If you're gonna play like that, fine.
Oh, I dodge rolled too soon and dodge rolled into it. Oh no.
Fuck it, I'll hard cast for your ass if I need to. Okay, so I think that covers pretty much the basics, guys. How for survivability and stuff. You want to don't go all offensive. Try to get some CCs. There are a lot of CC effects, even on Sorcerer. Sorcerer Crystal Frags doesn't do the stun effect anymore. It was just it needed a nerf. It really did. But keep in mind in Destro, let me go ahead and it's probably someone didn't like that comment. No, I did it. Nightblade and DK stacking poison disease, very nasty with high dots. Exactly. Really nasty. Nice info, bud. Oh, definitely, King. That's why I'm here. Hi. Not sure if I should unsubscribe to stay to correct the misinformation that's being provided. You know what, Lord? I mean that's you if you think it's misinformation. I mean, we play. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm not the best. I'm just trying to help players new to PvP or struggling for PvP. That's all I think I'm trying to do. What's the range on Soul Assault? It's like 25. Check your Soul Assault range if it's on there. But yeah, it's really long. Like Soul Assault is really, really nasty long. Morning, Lewis. But Lord, you know, the thing about it is this. You know, CC effects is good. Survivability is good. You have people who don't... I've had PvPers who are like, talk about poisons. And I'm an adamant poison user. And I'm always, majority of the time, I'm always on the leaderboards. So I do think I'm a pretty good PvPer. I don't think I'm the best. I think there are better information out there. Best things to do if disagree with Mystic and want to help the ESO community is create your own YouTube channel and make some videos to help people in ESO the way you feel it should be helped. Right. And that's what I try to do. But if you feel like I'm misinformating, put it down. You know, I like to hear if I'm wrong. So you can actually go ahead, Lord, and put something like I maybe overlooked or didn't cover, because if it's helpful, I want you to say it. Or if I missed something, like the Soul Assault, I actually used to be that you could break it. Like you could be able to stun them out of it, but I guess that's not the case anymore. You know, you don't get hit with it often unless you're somebody getting pounded here by duck, and all of a sudden out of nowhere they hit you with a friggin' Soul Assault. You can loss it though.
I do. I use it as a finisher.
I usually will hug something, unless I'm in an open field, and then I'm hosed. Yeah. Yeah, definitely, Lord. You can always put something down, man. Don't be afraid, man. If you think that there's something there that I've missed, please help me. You know, I am appreciative of players trying to help me, man. You can't cloak it either. Yeah, you know, that's crazy. But you can cloak Meteor, though, right? Because that's the one thing, like, every time I try to throw a Meteor on down, and if they time it right, I think they can cloak the hit, but I think the ground effect can still pull them out, you know, of the cloak. So I haven't tried it like on invisibility pot or anything. Soul is definitely OP, and that's why Duck really likes using Soul Assault. He's one who uses it. Mystic, I'm finally on the PC. It feels so different. Yeah, it does. Congrats, Lewis. Definitely get a hold of me, dude. Definitely, we'll do some shit together. But one of the major things here, guys, shield stacking is a problem. If you see a Sorc with these two effects on, don't try to 1v1 him. Don't. Sorcs can be CC'd. Sorcs can be pressured, right? But if you see two shields, I don't care what shields they are. If you see two little orbs around this Sorcerer, that is your worst potential nightmare going into a battle. It's going to be nasty. He's going to mitigate a lot of damage, and he's got a self-sustain heal on. It's pretty frigging foul if you see that. They're just nasty. By the way, you should run Try Food. I do on certain builds. On this one, because I'm in heavy armor, this one I'm using, I'm using the Witch Mothers, so I use Try, right. So I'm using a Try-statted food. I don't go double. I don't ever do max health and max Magico or max stamina. I agree. Try-statted foods, going to come in handy. You'll lose a little bit, but that recovery is very important in PvP. Because recovery, no matter how you're building, whether it's going to be health recovery, stamina recovery, Magica recovery, you need some sort of recovery in PvP. Recovery is very, very, very detrimental in PvP. And I agree. Try statted food all the way. All the way. Your best bet is to play very aggressive on mag swords. It is. And I've heard like multiple people say that you literally have to be on top of the Sorc prior to him getting his combo off. If you can do that. Now, I'm a type of person, depending on who the Sorcerer is, because I know the PvPers, I already know he potentially might have a Nightblade partner on standby. So sometimes I'll play it by ear, and sometimes I'll play aggressive. Sometimes I have to be a little leery because I know he might be rolling with somebody. Criticism doesn't have to always be toxic. No, it doesn't. It's not always what you say, it's how you say it. Correct, Scott. Definitely. And I think that's a good thing. Like, I don't mind players being critical, or trying to critique something or give some information, because that's why you guys are here. You're a part of my community. I take advice from you guys as well. And like I said, man, I feel there are better PvPers out there. Misform, let's go over Misform. Like, for example, if I see somebody hit Misform, I'm not going to waste my spells on somebody who's in Mist. The only thing I'm trying to do at that point is try to keep on top of them. When they pop out, hit the durations, force them back in, let them spend their magicka. Let them keep doing it. Because the more they're pressured into Mistform, the more they're going to use that resource, right? It's going to take a little longer. The fight's going to be a little bit more durated. But I don't want to keep trying to pop abilities on him, especially when he's getting that damage reduction. So every time he pops out, I'll hit my durated effect, keep the pressure on him, so all of a sudden he's committed to use as much magic as possible. To pretty much keep pressure on them to run them out of mag. Right, exactly. You have to pressure them, but you got to make sure that you're not wasting your resources in the process, because they're banking on that. If you keep spending spells while they're in Misform, they know they're running out of resources. I'm banking up my my time. All I have to do is, it's a matter of who's got the most in their pool. Yeah, you can definitely weave. That's a good point, Duck. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, to weave up on them when they're in Misform is also a plus, you know? They always take advantage of that. PvP, the goal to make the other guy run out of resources and keep them pressured so they cannot attack or defend. Right. It's all about the pressure, and that's why you see people will lost in and out. So when they're on 1v, like me, like Uology said it the best, none of our dudes get 1vx'd. Right? Because we know when they're playing this little ring around the rosy trick, and you see a bunch of people like starting to chase them on this side or that side, and they're just kind of like, you know, playing stupid in this aspect. You don't want to play their game like that. So when you start seeing them like that, what they're doing is putting a durated effect on you, so I can hit him with durated effect. All of a sudden, when he comes out, I hit him with the frag. I could tie my frag down and then just keep moving along the lines. You know, so I can just kind of keep weaving in and out, keep him busy, buying time, and all of a sudden just keep hitting him. He's got to force the target me, but durated effects like Haunting Curse and Mage's Fury is still going to apply even when he's hitting it. So all I'm doing is just keep repeating, rinsing until that frag procs. Once that frag procs and he comes around that corner chasing me like I know he is, he's going to bite, and then all of a sudden, boom, I stick him. He's dead. So when you see a lot of players, you don't want to chase them around these little loop-de-loops, man. That's a tactical disadvantage for you. So what you want to do is literally, you want to taunt him. The best way to do it is literally standing out in the open field. It's going to come down to who is the better PvPer. That's a tactical advantage. It's the better PvPer is going to be toe-to-toe, right? If you want to play toe-to-toe. Don't play that game. If you're going to play a toe-to-toe game, don't chase him. Now, the best thing to is cut and run when you know you're outnumbered. If you're going to get outnumbered, cut and run. I mean, you can take the death. There's no dishonor in that. If you're going to go ahead and try to, you know, PvP up, and you want to go ahead and see what you can do against 4 or 5 players, and you want to try to 1vx, by all means, go ahead. You know, if you die to that, that's not dishonorable. That's actually more commendable, because you're trying to improve your gameplay. But when you see one person running in and out of that, all that is setting you up to die most of the time.
Just kiting you.
Yeah, they're just kiting you.
Just sit here and don't do anything. You're not capping.
Yeah, to get your minion. Yeah, Rock's giving you the right information. But Lord, yeah, definitely, dude. If you can give me any information, man, I would appreciate it, man. Definitely. I always appreciate, especially people who do nothing but PvP. I only PvP 1 hour a night, and then like 3-4 hours on weekends, depending. And I still get leaderboards. Like I always get leaderboard. Like I'm always in the top 100. So I'm always in the top 100, you know, and I don't PvP as much as some of these guys. That's why I'm saying there are some better information out there by more hardcore PvPers. True, I so wish devs would give console add-ons. Yeah, it would be hard, though, you know, to kind of implement that, you know. But definitely, guys, a couple tactical things, like, you know, for example, if I try to loss out... Come here, duck. Let's say you get caught up in this, and I'm going to play the loop-de-loop with Duck. He can CC me on the corner. You're going to CC me, Duck. So if I try to play this loop-de-loop and he goes ahead and he's going to wait. Now I have to go ahead, play around. Now see, he's just going to CC me. I'm going to try to keep hitting this. And every time I come around, he's just going to CC me. See, he's using that to slow me down. Make sure you get those talons out, dude. Now see, I have to kind of can weave up, and remember, weaving will go through. As crazy as it is, when I weave and I come around this, now see how he's got me locked? I'm out. And now he's got the advantage by keeping the CCs on me as I'm looping around. Now see, he's forcing me to use my stamina. Now I can't block it. And that's one way you can play somebody around the corners. If they're playing the corner game, don't chase them. Wait on one end, CC them. Force them to use their stamina. The more you do that, the more you can play their little tactic. So you can go ahead, CC them, lock them down, force them to use their stamina, and then catch them when they can't go ahead. When you CC them and they can't break, that's when you move in. Boom, their stamina's down. They're done. They've exhausted all their resources at that point. 2 ways to win a duel: either burst or out sustain. Right? Nope. You're right, 100%. And I don't think duel, like, I duel for practices, but I definitely like, I like Cyrodiil and Battlegrounds. I like multiple people being around in any scenario. Whether I'm on whether I'm being, like, you know, forced out or whatever, I like pressure game. So that's me personally. I love running pressure. Oh, what, my build? Lord? What I'm doing, the thing about it is, Lord, this is a common build for Sorcs. And my build's different. But the combos is standard. So I'm having a hard time, like, trying to figure out what you're saying. So, I mean, if you put some information, that'd be awesome. Like, because when you take a look at, like typically, like, Dark Exchange, if I'm going to run the Healing Ward, I probably am not going to have Dark Exchange. Dark Exchange is a common. Streak is common. Now, this is preference for me, Boundless Storms. I use that for mitigation and movement. Gives me enough. So especially when I'm streaking through and I'm running ulti. So I'll burn a bunch of people down. I run like a little bomb run. EG on Sorc ain't standard though. Right. It's not. That's my preference.
I see lots of Sorcs with engine guard.
Well, and you know, each are going to play slightly different. But this is the standard setup. Like, well, Endless, Fury, some people like the Wrath. I like Fury because I'm heavy armor build. I'm not a light armor build. So I run the Fury. I don't run Wrath. Action duration reminder will allow to set up icons and such to give you, yep. There's a great example, started as good comment and then toxic. Well, you know, I mean, people can, you know, and some people want to go ahead and say that this is a better setup and that's a better setup. I feel like each are going to have strengths and weaknesses, and once again, Cypher PK makes a good, you know, analogy on that. There's going to be strengths and weaknesses depending on your selection of gear and abilities and timing. So, but Haunting Curse is standard. Why? It's unblockable. Right? Endless Fury or Mage's Wrath, whatever you want to go, you're going to use. That's standard. And then, of course, usually a frag. You know, and then usually people use Hardening Ward. I use Empowering Ward. Once again, I'm a heavy armor build. So these are standard, and along with Shooting Star. That's standard. That's standard configuration. Streak depends, but a lot of sorts use Streak. That's, to me, that's a standard. Dark Exchange is usually, you'll see them run it. They're self-sustained, or you'll see them using a resto, and you'll see Sorks shield stack. That is common. Shield stacking Sorks is real. They're a bitch to kill. They will 1v8 people. It's retarded.
I've been seeing Sorks running the resto, and then they use the resto ulti.
Right. Yeah, and I've seen that too. How much penetration is in my kit? Usually I'm running about, I use spinners. So I use spinners. I use 4008. Oh, no, I don't. I'm a heavy. So I use spinners to offset for light armor. And then I stack into my penetrating value, usually another 2. So I'm usually around about, close to about 9 on my penetrating values. But this is a different build. This is my shock therapy build. This is designed for multiple, this is designed against the siege. This isn't like, you know, like a light armor. Light armor, you'd even get more. So you get 4,884. You can run more into your erosion, so you can get probably another, 4. You can use the lover. And I use the lover. So, and that's part of my kit as well. So I use the lover, so I'm getting around 3, close to 3. I'm getting 3. I'm getting 6 something. Then I put in 4. So I've got about 10k in penetration with my build, with my kit. So I'm running about 10k pen. So that's how I build up with this build. This build is different. This is set up against the Zergs. This gives me sustainability. It allows me to kill a lot of people zerging. I'm not set up in a 1v1 or a 1v or whatever. I'm set up against group plays. That's how I set up. I set up purposely to kill a shitload of people in Zergs. That's what I do. I play to that ability.
Just fuck with them.
Yeah. Duck here sees me all the time. Duck will get on his healer. He'll spot heal me. I'm off to the races, aren't I, Duck?
Really, on that build, I like to bring my tankies, one of my tanky DPS. It's kind of set up the same way to fuck with large groups. And then, yeah, both of us fucking with large groups, you just watch our team just roll over those guys after we start fucking with them.
And that's what we do. We set up. We will mix and match our PvP combos. Me and Duck here. This is him and Uology are the only two I will consistently PvP with. I don't PvP in groups. But I usually watch out for swords, and then I go ahead and I chase down the Zergs. So that's what I do. And that's how I PvP. And I get a lot of, because I only got so much time. I only have an hour and a half on. So I'm going to maximize my AP, and I want to kill a lot of people in the process. So in that essence, I'm chasing down the Zergs or I'm playing defense. Like tower farmers. I love tower farmers. Because when tower farmers come into Arias, that's bank for me. That's like, hello, you're going to farm EP? Well, now I'm farming you. So it's really good. So keep up, tower farmers, because I love it when you come and I get AP out of it. It's awesome. So it's really good shit. That's what I like to do. That's how I play my game. one thing console PvP has that is good thing is no Myats. Yeah, and that's why I PvP preferably on console. I do PvP on PC, but my main PvP platform I prefer is console because there's no Myats. There's no little shit that's giving players an advantage based on an add-on. So I don't like it. But if you're Myats is an add-on that will give you a heads up on detection of stealth players within your vicinity.
Yeah, that sounds kind of cheaty.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But anyways, guys, yeah, that's pretty much about it. There, like I said, there are different ways to handle each scenario. But when you see people looping and doing this stuff, don't chase. They're going to come back around. That's their tactic. When they do, CC them on the back end. They're going to break. It's forcing them to use their resources. It's about, them depleting their resources. If you get caught up in their game, you're going to die. But if you let them play to your game, you're going to have a lot more success. Don't get frustrated if you're new to PvP and you're just starting to learn counterplay. Counterplay is very important in PvP, right? You got to, know CCs, stuns, roots, basically how to get out of it, increase mitigation. So, for example, one of the abilities I love is this ability right here, especially when against Zergs. I am able to deal a certain amount of damage. So what I usually do against the Zerg, I'll hit this and I streak right through. I'll hit the ulti, the Destro ulti, boom, I'm getting a speed boost. Streak and Destro ulti. And all of a sudden, people just start dying. Boom, 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 boom. Because even in heavy armor, I have a mitigating effect. I got another damaging effect. I got my Destro ulti, and I'm CCing them at the same time. So that's how I play this build.
When he's in lightning form, he's harder to see.
Right. It's amazing. I love it. Love this build for that. You haven't seen Nasty YC then? Probably not. I haven't seen that. Is that an add-on too, Sam? Or is that a player? There are good players out there too. So by all means, I never... Like, here's Ghost Killer in chat. He's a damn good PvPer. Damn good. Ghost is really good. I know all the top PvPers for all the factions. Most of them are on my friends list. A lot of them are. A shitload. A couple players aren't. We won't name names, but a lot of them are on my friends list, and I get along with them. They kill me a lot. I get to PvP against them. They offer a lot of pressure. I get to kill them a couple of times, and we have fun. And yeah, we're smack talkers. We're PvPers. That's what we do. So... And even Miami, as much smack talk as he gives me, I like Miami. A little off topic, but did you do an update on your Sorc tank? Not yet. I need to. But yeah, I need to do that, Scott. But thank you. Amazing Stam DK. Oh, definitely. Well, thank you for the heads up there, Sam. I'll definitely check him out. Stam DK is really nasty too. Do not forget the Ursinium anniversary, double rewards, Rothgar. So instead of one weapon, Maelstrom, you get two. Right. But here's my thing. On console, we're having a lot of bugs. So hopefully they resolve that before the anniversary comes out. Because if not...
Before it's over.
Yeah, it's really bad. I got, like, literally forced out of Maelstrom 4 times the other day ago. It wasn't pretty. Was not pretty. So, yeah. When the game came out, there was no penalty to spam streak besides the cost of spell. Sorcs were streaking across 0 minutes faster than mouth. I believe that. I could definitely see that. I definitely was not around for those days, but definitely I could understand why they did that. He's one of the best using line of sight. Oh yeah, definitely. Line of sight. So yeah, line of sight is definitely a real thing, man. And if that dude's really good at it, you wanted to take advantage of it. But definitely when I see people doing this, doing line of sight game, I'm like, okay, we'll see how that goes. And depending on my build, like on this build, I'm not going to go ahead and I'm not going to engage in that. I'm a dead man walking if I do. So what I want to do is I want to force him out in the field. My gameplay with this build is an open field. I want him in open field most of the time with this build. But in a build like Ducks, if I'm zooming around and I want to lost because I want to play the derated effects and say I'm the one, all he has to do is just literally hold his position, go ahead, CC me, force me to use my stamina, force me to use my stamina, force me to use my stamina. As soon as I can't break from one of his CCs anymore, he's going to move in and he's going to cut me down. It's just the way it goes. But there you guys have it. If anybody has any questions or comments, and Lord, I do appreciate you coming in and helping me out, man. Definitely. Don't feel like you don't ever have to, voice your opinion here. We're a community. I definitely want your guys' input, feedback. As long as it's not negative in a disrespectful manner, I love criticism because we all can learn from somebody. So, what rotation would you use on Sorc for grinding XP? Well, XP grind, I use a lot of AoE. So I use the unstable wall. I'll gather up, I'll use unstable wall, liquid lightning, do my heavy charge attack, and then I run self-sustain in there. So if I'm farming. So all you have to have is like 3 good AoE effects going down. Like liquid lightning, unstable wall, and a heavy attack and sustain, and you can switch out your abilities to into your morphs. So that's pretty good for your grind. Don't use fast travel inside Deshaun on PS4 load screen for days. Yeah, the load screens are bad. They're on it. Gina Bruno did post, on the forums that the engineers are working on it, and Matt is working diligently with the team to try to resolve this. So I have nothing but confidence they'll try to get it fixed. But these things can be unexpected. So patience is a virtue. I know it sucks. It's annoying. I know.
I don't have.
Yeah, well. Time for Mystic to make a werewolf leveling guide, eh? Yeah, werewolf. I have 2 werewolves, man, and they actually fixed my little thing where I had this little thing going on with werewolf where I could sustain werewolf, and I was able to level it, but then they fixed it or some shit. 3 months before load screen fix. Yeah, it's insane. It's crazy. Load screens are an issue. But yeah, guys, definitely feel like I want you guys to be a part of my community. I want you guys to interact. I want you guys to feel like you can go ahead and say something to me. Just don't make it negative, man. If you can do that in a positive way and say, "Hey, Mystic, you forgot about this," or "Hey, Mystic, this may be better." It's all about the approach. Remember that, guys. If somebody says your build sucks, well, that's not being critical. That's being demeaning. And that's something I don't do. And I can be an asshole. I can be a complete asshole to people. We all know this. But the one thing I never do, despite whether or not I like a player or anything, I never go on their page and cut down on their builds. Why? Because at the end of the day, if it works for them, it might work for other players. Who am I to critique that? I can't. The only thing I'm going to critique is things that are factual, like diminishing returns, penetrating values, whether effects stack or not. Those are the things, or BIS. Those are the things that I'm going to debate and I'm going to question. It's not that I'm questioning the individual per se. I'm questioning in the method of their delivery. But I expect players to do that with me as well. Once again, hey, I'm a YouTuber. I'm out in the open. I'm exposed. These things happen. But I also want to thank Duck today for lending his time to helping us, with these demonstrations. And I like I said, I'm not the best PvPer, but I do okay. And I think if anybody can get anything out of it, kudos. But thank you all for watching once again. I appreciate it. I'm Mysticraven, this ESO Daily. And once again and always, have a nice day.